Lights buzzed overhead, screens flickering as employees typed furiously. I had just opened my old laptop, the one I'd kept alive with care even though its body was scratched and its processor wheezed. I was focused, ready to learn, until Eric Dalton, the supervisor, decided to make me his target. "Wait, wait!" Eric's mocking voice rang out, loud enough to silence the tapping keyboards. He pointed at me, his grin sharp as glass. "Look at this, everyone! Madison doesn't even own a proper laptop. Before we begin, drop a comment and tell us where are you from and from which city you're watching our videos. And after watching the whole video, don't forget to tell us what would you do in this situation. Be honest, tell me in the comments below. We read every comment. Let's begin." The room rippled with laughter. Some smirked, others outright chuckled. I saw Trevor Brooks nearly fall out of his chair from laughing too hard. My throat tightened. My palms went cold against the keyboard. Eric stepped closer, still performing for the room. "This is a tech training, Madison. You're slowing us down with that antique. Why don't you leave and let the professionals handle this?" The laughter stung deeper the second time. My chest burned, but what broke me most wasn't Eric's sneer. It was the silence. Not a single person stood up for me. Nicole Grant shifted uncomfortably, looking at her screen, while Allison Reed bit her lip, guilt flickering in her eyes but too afraid to speak. I swallowed the knot in my throat, closed my laptop with shaking hands, and forced out a whisper. "Fine." Eric leaned back, smug satisfaction dripping from his voice. "That's the right attitude. Maybe next time. Come prepared instead of wasting our time." The words clawed into me as I walked out, the sound of laughter chasing me down the hallway. Every step felt heavier, but beneath the humiliation was something sharper. I wasn't broken, I was furious. What they didn't know? The upcoming tech upgrade, the new servers, systems, and yes, the sleek laptops they were all waiting for, was funded by me. I didn't need to advertise it, but I'd quietly approved the deal when corporate hesitated. I had the leverage. I had the authority. And now I had the perfect reason to use it. I didn't go home. I went straight to HR, storming into Lauren Pierce's office with eyes burning. "They humiliated me," I said, voice trembling with both rage and restraint. And Eric Dalton let it. "I want this documented. And when the rollout happens, I'm not keeping this quiet anymore." Lauren's eyes narrowed, her pen pausing midair. "Tell me everything, Madison," and I did. Every cruel word. Every laugh. Every silence that cut deeper than the insults. This wasn't just going to be filed away. This was going to explode. Lauren Pierce's pen tapped once against the notepad before she set it down, folding her hands together with deliberate calm. Her voice was steady, but her eyes flashed sharp. "Madison, if what you're saying is true, this isn't just unprofessional. It's a liability. Humiliation in a workplace setting can't be ignored. But I need you to be certain you're ready for what comes next." I leaned forward, my voice low but burning with conviction. "I'm past ready, Lauren. I've covered for people, stayed late, worked weekends, and this is what I get in return?" "No, I'm not walking away this time." Lauren nodded slowly, the tension in the room thick as she reached for her phone. "Then let's make sure the right people hear it. I'll schedule a closed-door meeting with Thomas Whitaker himself. If you're funding the upgrade like you say, the dynamic changes completely." Her words sent a surge of adrenaline through me. This wasn't about revenge for humiliation anymore. It was about exposing Eric Dalton for the fraud he was, and making every silent spectator confront their own cowardice. The following morning, I walked back into the office, not through the side entrance I usually slipped in from, but straight through the front lobby with Lauren at my side. Heads turned. Whispers sparked instantly. "Is that Madison with HR? Why's she back so soon? She looks different." I did feel different. My humiliation had hardened into a resolve so strong it showed in my posture, in the way I carried my laptop bag like it was a weapon instead of a burden. Eric Dalton spotted me before I even reached the elevators. He smirked like a cat waiting to toy with its prey. "Well, look who decided to crawl back," he sneered. "Don't tell me you're still trying to sit in on the training." Lauren's voice cut through the room, cold and clipped. "Mr. Dalton, We'll need to speak with you. Now. The smirk faltered. Inside the glass-walled conference room, the atmosphere tightened like a noose. Lauren laid out the facts with brutal precision. Multiple employees had witnessed Eric publicly humiliate me, derailing a professional training session. His behavior wasn't just inappropriate. It undermined the entire department. Eric tried to laugh it off. Come on, it was just a joke. Everyone laughed. No harm done. I leaned forward, my voice steady but edged with fire. No harm? You told me to leave in front of everyone. You treated me like I didn't belong in this company. And not one of them defended me, because you've built a culture of fear where silence feels safer than speaking the truth. His face tightened. But before he could bark back, Lauren slid a folder across the table. Here's the contract, Eric. The new servers, the laptops, the entire infrastructure upgrade. You know the one you've been bragging about in emails? Funded by Madison. The blood drained from his face. For a moment, the room was silent except for the faint hum of the overhead lights. His hands twitched, searching for a defense, but there wasn't one. I didn't give him the chance to speak. The woman you mocked in front of everyone is the reason this department isn't crumbling under outdated machines. And while you were too busy performing for a laugh, I was making sure you still had a job to come to. The meeting ended with Lauren's voice final and sharp. Eric, you'll remain under review pending HR's investigation. Until further notice, you are suspended from overseeing training sessions. Madison, you'll attend with full authority. Walking out of that room, I felt every eye on me. People avoided direct stares, but I could see it. The shock, the guilt, the disbelief. Rachel Myers whispered to another coworker, her voice trembling. She really funded the upgrade? Yes, I did. And I wasn't done making them face the truth. The real reckoning was yet to come, because once HR revealed the suspension to the entire department, no one would be able to hide behind silence anymore. When I returned to my desk, I opened my battered old laptop one last time. I smiled faintly at its whirring fan, at the chipped corner of the screen. This machine had carried me through storms. They thought it made me weak, but in reality, it was proof of my strength. I closed it, set it aside, and waited. The announcement was scheduled for the morning meeting, and when the memo dropped, the entire office would go pale. The office was unusually quiet the next morning. People typed slower, whispered softer, their eyes flicking constantly toward the glass conference room where Lauren Pierce and senior managers had gathered. Everyone knew something was coming, but no one dared to guess what. I sat at my desk, calm on the outside, though my pulse drummed in my ears. My old laptop sat closed beside me, a quiet symbol of everything they had ridiculed. Trevor Brooks kept sneaking glances at me, his usual cocky grin missing. Nicole Grant avoided my gaze altogether, shoulders hunched as if the weight of yesterday's silence pressed her down. Then the email hit. A sharp ding across the floor as inboxes lit up at once. Department-wide. Notice, effective immediately, Eric Dalton is suspended pending HR review. Training sessions will proceed under temporary oversight, with Madison Clark as the designated point of contact for the tech transition. The silence after was deafening. You could almost hear the blood drain from faces. Trevor's chair squeaked as he leaned over to whisper to Rachel, She's running the transition." Rachel shook her head in disbelief. "She's the one who funded it. I heard it from HR this morning." Allison Doyle, the youngest in the room, looked directly at me. For the first time, her expression wasn't pity. It was awe. The meeting bell rang. We filed into the conference room where Lauren stood at the head of the table, her posture crisp, her voice sharp. Effective today, Eric Dalton is relieved of his training duties. What happened yesterday was unacceptable. We don't tolerate humiliation in this workplace. Madison Carter will serve as the lead liaison for the upgrade rollout, as she is directly responsible for making it possible. Gasps. Shuffling papers. Stunned faces. Lauren turned to me. "Madison, would you like to say anything?" I rose slowly, my voice steady though my heart pounded. "Yesterday, I was laughed out of this room because of my old laptop. No one defended me. You all stayed silent, but that silence said everything. It showed how fear has ruled this place under Eric. I stayed quiet for too long, too. That ends today, I let the words hang. No one dared interrupt. I signed the funding that paid for this entire upgrade. Those new systems you'll be working on? They're here because I made sure corporate approved them. Not because it was easy, not because I wanted recognition, but because I believed this team deserved better tools to succeed. Trevor shifted uncomfortably, his smirk gone. Nicole's eyes glistened, her guilt plain. Allison gave the faintest nod of encouragement. I leaned forward, my voice dark, cutting through the tension. So laugh at me if you want. Mock my laptop, my place at the table. But know this, I am the reason you have a table at all. The silence cracked into uneasy murmurs. The rest of the day was chaos. Whispers trailed me everywhere I walked. Some avoided me entirely, embarrassed by their own silence. Others tried awkwardly to apologize, soft words like, "I didn't know, Madison," or "I'm sorry I didn't say anything." But the truth was clear. They all knew humiliation when they saw it. They had chosen not to act, and that choice haunted them now. When I stepped back into the training room, the atmosphere was completely different. Eyes followed me, not with scorn, but with caution, respect, even fear. I pulled out my old laptop, setting it down on the table like a statement. "Let's begin." The projector blinked to life. For once, no one laughed. Not a sound, because now they all understood. The person they had mocked was the same one holding their professional future in her hands. And as the session went on, as I guided them through the upgrade I had fought to secure, I caught sight of their pale faces, their nervous glances. It wasn't just training anymore. It was reckoning. By the end of the day, I walked out of the building with my head high. The humiliation of yesterday had been transformed into something far greater, power. But it wasn't over yet, because tomorrow, Thomas Whitaker himself, the CEO, was flying in to meet me. And when the man at the very top confirmed what HR had already announced, the shockwaves would shake this office to its core. The real reckoning hadn't even begun. The next morning, tension hung heavy in the air. Everyone knew something big was coming. The hum of printers, the clack of keyboards, none of it drowned out the nervous whispers circling the office. At exactly 9, the glass doors at the entrance slid open, and in walked Thomas Whitaker, the CEO himself. His tall frame and stern presence commanded silence instantly. He wasn't the type to visit without reason, and today, his reason was me. Employees straightened in their seats, some pretending to work, others staring openly as Thomas headed straight for the conference room. Behind him walked Lauren Pierce, calm and collected, holding a file under her arm. She gestured for me to follow. I stood, shoulders squared, every step echoing louder than the last. The silence was suffocating. Even Trevor Brooks, usually quick with a smirk, looked pale. Nicole's eyes flicked to me, wide with guilt. Allison offered the faintest encouraging nod. Inside the conference room, Thomas wasted no time. His deep voice cut straight through. "I've reviewed the report from HR. I've also spoken with corporate regarding the tech upgrade." He turned his gaze to me. "Madison Clark, is it true? You personally funded the upgrade we're about to launch?" I met his eyes unwavering. "Yes, sir. I believed the team needed better tools, and corporate was hesitating. I didn't do it for recognition. I did it because it was necessary." Thomas's stern face softened just slightly. He nodded. "That decision saved us months of delays. It kept us competitive, and yet—" His eyes shifted sharply to Eric Dalton, who sat stiff across the table, called in for this final reckoning. "Instead of showing gratitude, you humiliated the very person who kept this department afloat." Eric's face flushed crimson. "It was a joke, Thomas. Blown way out of proportion?" Thomas slammed a hand on the table. The sound cracked like thunder. The entire floor outside turned their heads. "A joke?" His voice boomed. Publicly ridiculing an employee is never a joke, especially not when that employee is single-handedly responsible for the upgrade you've been parading as your accomplishment. Eric stammered, his confidence shattered. Sweat gathered on his forehead. I didn't know." Thomas cut him off cold. Ignorance is no defense. Effective immediately, you are removed from your position as supervisor. HR will finalize the paperwork. The color drained from Eric's face. He slumped back, defeated, his arrogance finally stripped away. Lauren slid a new file across the table, her voice sharp but calm. Per the board's approval, Madison will assume oversight of the entire transition project. Effective today. The weight of her words settled over me. My chest tightened, not with fear this time, but with triumph. I rose slowly, looking around the room, then directly at Eric. My voice was steady but edged with the same fire that had carried me through humiliation. You mocked me for my laptop. You told me to leave like I didn't belong here. But what you didn't realize is that I belong here more than you ever did. This team doesn't need someone who leads with cruelty. It needs someone who knows what resilience looks like. Eric couldn't even look me in the eye. When we walked out of that room, the entire office froze. Whispers exploded instantly. Eric's out? She's in charge? Oh my God. Madison? For once, I didn't shrink under their stares. I let them feel the weight of their silence yesterday. Their laughter, their cowardice, their unwillingness to defend me. And now they had no choice but to respect me. Nicole approached timidly, her voice small. Madison. I'm sorry. I should have said something. I met her gaze. You had the chance. You all did. Remember how it felt to stay quiet, because next time someone else might need you to speak up. She nodded, shame written all over her face. Trevor didn't even try. He sank low in his chair, avoiding my eyes completely. The smugness he always carried was gone. Allison, though, she stepped forward, her voice clear. You deserve this, Madison. More than anyone. For the first time in days, I smiled. That afternoon, I stood once again at the front of the training room. The new laptops gleamed on every desk, untouched, waiting. All eyes were on me, not with mockery this time, but with cautious respect. I placed my old, battered laptop down on the table in front of me. The same one that had made me a target. I let its cracked corner and whirring fan fill the silence. This, I said firmly, pointing at it, isn't weakness. It's proof. Proof that you can do extraordinary things even with less. What matters isn't the machine you use. It's the strength you bring to the table. Remember that. Not a sound of laughter followed. Just silence. Heavy, contemplative, and respectful. I began the session, guiding them through the systems I'd fought to give them. And with every instruction, every nod of understanding, every pale face finally acknowledging me, I knew the humiliation I'd endured had been transformed into something else entirely, power, respect, and a voice that could no longer be silenced. As I closed my old laptop one last time, I looked out across the room and thought, they'll never forget this.